My name is Tony Thompson. I'm the Field and Training Coordinator with the Center for Nonviolence and Social Justice. That role entails developing curriculum, recruiting individuals, and training young men who've come through the program to be helpers and work with other individuals to help them heal from STSR. Growing up, I was lucky. I came from a two-parent household. Nothing that they did could have shielded me from the experience of having guns pointed in my face, having police officers harass me, knowing people who've been murdered. However, having that strong support in school, at home, at church, and the extracurricular activities that I was involved in, really kind of supported my growth. I always had a place where I can go and feel safe to talk to. So having that support internally or externally is important to battling STSR. The best way I like to explain to people what STSR looks like and what it feels like is if you ever have your property vandalized. You come out in the morning and your car is broken into. How do you feel at that moment? What is it like for you at that moment? What are the things that you're experiencing? Most people are feeling vulnerable. Most people are feeling angry. People are feeling that their sense of safety has been compromised. My next question to that person is, what would you have done when you caught the person breaking into your car? Then everyone has that, I quite don't know at that moment. I might have beat them up. I might have called the police. I might have let it go. I might have been so in shock that I would have froze. And I explained to people that that's exactly what STSR is. All those reactions are normal reactions to the adverse or abnormal experience. And how you deal with that is based on a set of experiences you had over time. In terms of the young people that I see and the young people I've worked with for the last 6 years, their experience is a lifelong experience. It's so prevalent in their lives, it's normalized to this point. If you ask them, what was the most violent or the toughest time in your life? It's not the time that they were injured or the time that they experienced a violent act. They can tell you as early as 5 years old, I saw this and it impacted me. It happened at a very early age. So now it's a normal experience for them so that these reactions have become so numb and so mute to them that the only thing that they can fully tell you that they're experiencing is anger or fear. So a lot of people walk around hypervigilant. A lot of people walk around paranoid, super aware. They're thinking about ways to keep themselves safe. It's a process, and because it happens almost ad hoc, no one actually really looks at it as a way of saying, wow, this is an abnormal way for me to deal with my environment. Prior to understanding what STSR is, a client's world is very closed, very small, and they lack vision and hope that they can actually attain their future in which they dreamt of. Once they're explained to what STSR is, now they feel like they're powerful. They start to understand that their story has power, that their experience is a teachable experience, and that they're not crazy. So now they're empowered and armed with a certain set of knowledge and skills where they can start working intently on their own reactions, their own challenges. So the healing process for STSR is different for everyone. However, there are common themes that arise as people or individuals start to heal from STSR. You see a rise in civic engagement and civic responsibility. You see young men want to be better fathers, better individuals. You see young people who thought the future was bleak go to college, find jobs, become financially independent, socially independent. Now, it doesn't happen linearly. It doesn't happen very clean, but it's happening, where in other instances either would have taken many more years or things would have never materialized. People start taking ownership of their lives again versus saying, I'm a victim of X, Y, or Z. One thing about Philadelphia, and one thing that you can equate with Philadelphia and connect it to STSR, is that it keeps people trapped. It keeps people in their communities, it isolates people, and really don't allow you to expand your mind and think freely and clearly about different possibilities. But it's a beautiful summer day. I'm in a car with a bunch of young guys, and like, where can I go? Don't have any money, don't have a job. I have a date, but what am I gonna do with her? I'm like, do you know where you live? This is Philadelphia. There's beauty everywhere. What are you talking about, Tone? I'm like, well, let's take a ride. So we detoured, and we went to a little park in Mantua. It's right off the college campus. However, you drive by it and never really pay attention to its beauty. I pulled up, I was like, everybody get out the car. Parked the car, and I said, look, what's the park? Don't look at just the concrete, don't look at the grass. Look, what do you see right there? Everybody mouth dropped. Yeah, it was around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. The sun was about to set. It's orange, it's glowing off the buildings. You see the entire city skyline, and it's just breeze and this breath. Sit in the park in the middle of the city, and this view. Everyone was floored. So what I think I've done was be a caring, consistent adult in their lives. What I think I've done was give access and opportunities and exposure to other options. A couple weeks later, a guy came in my office like, yo, Tone, you the man. I'm like, what do you mean? Gave me a hug. He was like, yo, Tone, remember the young lady I was telling you about that I just met? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I took her to the park. I'm that man now. And I'm like, I told you. And he's like, I'd never thought about thinking of, doing things like this in my city. I'm like, listen, there's walking trails, there's nature. So this is how you give access and exposure to individuals who any other way they would have never known. I had a young man say to me, he wants to stop looking back at his shadow and look forward. And that's exactly what the healing process is stop looking in that rearview mirror about things that was, but now you start to hope and aspire for the things that can be. It wasn't until I had to transition into my new role and I was doing the discharge planning where I was like, wow, Tone, look at all the young people you touched. Look at all the things that they're doing with themselves now. Look at all the things you guys accomplished together. That's success.